Good morning, Mallory. It's your good evening, but it's my good morning, so I'm going to say morning.
Good morning,
What
Sam. Good
now
morning
what are
to
you gonna do?
you.
I took both options. You're out of options.
Good, Sam. Sam, good job. Sam, really good job. We really commend you for doing that. Welcome back to the Nobody Leaves podcast.
Happy afternoon, Mallory. We're talking about Madoka Magica. We're being old heads about anime. I had this realization last night that now we're old enough to be like, this anime from more than a decade ago is really meaningful to me. And that's what this podcast is going to become. Gen Z nostalgia.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy that there are teens that are probably going to be, digging through the classics and they're going to be watching Madoka Magica. And I can be like, oh, I was there, back in the day. Everyone posted the clip of Homura with a gun pointed at her head.
It's true. That was our Whiplash gif. That was Homura with the gun.
That was the defining thing of the internet. It brought everyone together. Everyone loved it,
I was thinking about old-ass Madoka memes. I was like, oh, Madoka, and shit like that. And it's just stuff that doesn't matter at all. Tumblr memes that, somehow got to me, even though I was not a Tumblr teen. Madoka, something special. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm filled with nostalgia. I don't usually go back and rewatch, anime that I've watched before. This is, a new feeling for me. But now I'm just like, is season 2 of this podcast going to be me just being like, well, let's watch Steins Gate now. Well, let's watch Full Metal Alchemist or whatever. I hope not, but I kind of also hope so.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, welcome to my world, because I kind of will get, my, 14 shows and just watch the same thing forever, and that's kind of why this podcast is beneficial to me, because I will not choose to watch something new if I could just go back to an old reliable classic, So I'm glad that you're joining the dark side of never expanding your horizons and just sinking deeper into an ever spiraling inward helix of nostalgia. Madoka Magica is good.
It's a good show.
I feel more conflicted about it. There's stuff I remembered that I completely blacked out of my mind. I think I absolutely had read Sensei Glasses about this series. Not to say that it's not phenomenal. It's a really good show. But yeah, I will say it was a little bit of a, because I remembered all the good stuff, seeing the stuff that wasn't as good, I was kind of like, oh yeah, and then that makes you highlight the negative stuff, you know what I mean? So it was not necessarily oh yeah, I'm back,
Can I make a guess?
When I was watching it, unfortunately. Yes.
About what you were having troubles with. So I went in being oh man, Madoka, I remember it being paced horribly. I remember it being 3 episodes of nothing until mommy gets her fucking head bit off. And it was better paced than I remember, or I enjoyed the pacing more because you have so much hindsight. So when there's a Hamura scene or there's a Kyubey scene, you're sitting there knowing you have so much more context than the characters in those scenes. And to me, it's really rewarding as a first time rewatch. So I was oh, this episode 1 experience is no longer 20 minutes of people talking about nothing that I understand. It's all all the table setting of what a magical girl is, what a witch is, what a labyrinth is. I was more along for the ride this time because that Kyubey is giving a lot of half truths and withholding information. Where somehow in two of our 3 episodes or I guess 3 of our 3 episodes of this batch of podcasts, we're back to lie by omission. It's been a big theme so far. And that is
totally
fun.
Yeah, no, I think that I will echo. If I had one thing that stood out as a positive in this rewatch, it was particularly in those first 3 episodes. It's there's so much happening, characterized with Homura, Kyubey, all the discussions they're having, the kind of mommy as well, really stands out, the fact the shadow that she casts over the whole series. Like, I think when you're watching it the first time, like, you're kind of in that Sayaka Madoka mindset of like Sayaka is like constantly like fighting for like what Mami stood for. And you do see like she opens up her feelings to Madoka of like, I'm like, I'm a fraud. I'm presenting this like perfection, but I'm actually like really lonely and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And she sees the truth or whatever, but like I think it's like, you're like, yeah, magical girls should fight altruistically, and it's not good to like be selfish or self-centered or whatever. And then like I think rewatching it, you're like, wow, Mommy's like kind of insane in the things she's teaching in a way, in her own way.
But she herself
like,
is like critical, like internally critical about that, and she has little interactions with Hamura and little interactions with Kyubey where you're like, oh, she knows that she's doing something wrong, but she's so lonely, and you don't realize the weight of what it means to have like entered this world until after she's gone in the story. Like the scene where they go and visit her apartment and she has no relatives and she's like a weird like middle school orphan who is disconnected from society, and you have to wonder, knowing what you now know about the system, if that's caused by her becoming a magical girl in the same way that like Kyoko's life went much poorer after she made that jump. And so it makes more sense to why she's so enthused about having Madoka and Sayaka become magical girls. And she doesn't go as far as to be like, you should do this, but she's giving like these magical girl classes, and it just carries a lot more weight, knowing that she's only going to be around for a quarter of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think like, yeah, if there was a positive standout, it was all of those things, especially in those first 3 episodes, like taking on so much substance. And it's hard. It's kind of hard to judge it by its own standards of like watching it for the first time and having that like surprise like dark twist or whatever. How you feel about that? Because yeah, like I remember liking it, I think, for the first 3 episodes, but yeah, like it's like, okay, we're waiting for the like plot to kind of pick up or whatever. But it's an interesting concept. Like, what is the thing that I'm getting stuck on about this show? It's like,
I'm wanting you to answer that. Yeah,
part
I
of
don't
me
quite know. I assume it was the
now
pacing, but...
in hindsight is like, to me, like I feel like the pacing, I kind of like a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna get distracted on Hollow, but I like a lot about the plot structure. I think the thing that like I kind of was rewatching it being like, there's something that feels like clickbait YouTube title about it in a way that's like, which you have to do to sell a show. That's not a criticism on its own. Like, that like, oh, this show is the magical girls but with guns or whatever, or like,
right.
This
People
is
getting their head
like, you have to get to episode 3. You have to watch like the first 3 episodes. You're gonna be totally tricked or whatever. I just punked someone by like having them watch what they thought was gonna be an innocent magical girl show, and then it went all dour. But like, why is that bothering me?
You're not going to believe what happens to these cute characters. These characters have cute character designs, but they go through trauma and they suffer physical violence, and they maybe murder 2 guys on a train, and they explode and become witches.
They listen to the most annoying guy ever lecture them about philosophy and just cry in response. That's the best part. Is she just goes, I don't even know what the fuck you're saying. It's just crying.
Yeah, I like Madoka.
Me, dude.
Madoka being like 12 and being like, I don't understand factory farming. I don't understand entropy. Why are you saying this? Why are you so mean?
I haven't seen like the Monsanto. What's the thing? Did you have to watch that as well? About like the guy
documentary or something?
He eats like a bunch of burgers, and it's like a really stupid. He like eats McDonald's every day. Super Size Me.
Oh, Super Size Me.
We had to watch that in school.
Yeah, I watched it too as
Yeah.
well. I I
Yeah.
don't
She hadn't
understand
seen
what the
Super
pink
Size Me
slime
yet.
is. I haven't experienced the pink slime. It it's a little I'm 14 and this is deep, but like it's also Madoka now means so much more than the show. Like it was the
Mm.
the deconstruction was the term that was like thrown around a lot at the time, right? Because it was more unique
Mm.
in 2011 than it is now. Of like we're gonna take this cutesy idea and hyper fixate on all the ways that like all the leaps in logic that like the fictional structure of like a magical girl show takes, and we're gonna actually like identify what it means to become more than a human, and how that actually is really psychologically like screwed up if you think about it, and how it's isolating, and also like how there should be some kind of cost for getting like great power and dare I say great responsibility. It's a good
Hmm.
time. It's a little edgy,
Yeah, I think
but I enjoy it.
there's something in there as well, and I think I've seen like retrospective discourse about this a little bit that is like maybe informing me. I'm trying to even like figure out how much of it is my own thoughts and like stuff I've read. You know what I mean? Where
Sure.
it's like the thing that I've seen is like why like is it really a deconstruction of magical girl genre, and like why did that need to be deconstructed in that way? There's because I think that there's, and here's the thing, I haven't done my homework and watched Sailor Moon because you talked me out of it, so I don't know. I've only watched a few episodes of Sailor Moon. I'm sorry for blaming you. I could watch Sailor Moon whenever I want, and I've chosen not to. Okay,
It's not one of the
I'm
12
taking
shows. I get
responsibility
it,
because I'm a good. It's not one of the 12 shows. Um, it's like I guess it. Like I guess it's like presenting a happier version, but there's also like the Power Rangers and they don't do stuff. It's like they do that in the Animorphs because like what's different about magical girls versus like superheroes in general? Nothing that really on a core level in the way that I feel like it deconstructs it in a way,
Mm-hmm.
almost because it's like but like I think if I think like Marvel movies, I think they do deal with like they're like all right, or like Marvel comics, they deal with like geopolitics and racism or whatever, right?
Sure.
And there may be a little bit more in that direction. Power Rangers or something like is they're not dealing with that. Animorphs, they started as Sailor Moon and they ended up becoming Madoka Magica and nobody liked it. The main character
Sure.
like had PTSD and was having all these like philosophical questions about like war and peace, and like
What if
one of
my
the
middle
main
school book
characters just
series
dies
becomes about a
unceremoniously.
genocide? Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah, it's like you kids need to learn about like what the cost of like fighting or whatever. Um and
Animorphs,
it's
crazy
I think
series. Look it
that
up. Uh,
yeah. I think what the point that I'm getting at is like there's a little bit of a line, and I'm not sure if the series. I think this kind of dates the series in a way that it's like it's not. I don't know if it's like sensitive to or paying attention to that line of like specifically picking magical girls as like this is the thing that we're gonna like do this thing. It's like there's a lot of merits to it. The fact that it's like super cutesy to contrast with like super horrific or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it's like the
I
most
could.
cynical view of it that I have, and the thing that I'm afraid is it's like, oh, this thing that's made for girls. Let's look at girls. You like this? Let me show you how it's really stupid and wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like anything that teenage girls like. Well, that's actually really problematic if you like really looked at it.
It's very
It's
anti-escapist fantasy, right? But it's specifically
mm,
a male author choosing a predominantly female genre and going like, no, see, this is dumb too. See, I get where you're coming from.
For a male audience as well, I think.
Probably for more
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, like if you were to give it a category, I don't know what it's technically categorized as, but it's probably seinen. Yeah. But
I would lean that direction for some other reasons that we can get into, but yeah.
Sure. I think so there's like 2 or 3 lines where the show kind of gives its like thesis statement of like Kyubey and the alien race choose like young girls as the target of this entropy fighting program, and it says essentially because like girls fluctuate between despair and hope at the greatest frequency when they're in like, I think he says the second stage of puberty. And that's a really interesting concept that it doesn't necessarily do a lot with. Okay, so like I feel like the 2025 version of Madoka, or the 2026 version, which is allegedly coming out in a month, at least in your country, you'd have to dig into that a little deeper. Like it has to be a little bit more deeply addressed of like what is it trying to say about the experience of middle school girls in the real world. Like when does the show become more than just a neat concept and like through line to tell people of like there's a magical girl show but it's dark? Like is it saying anything about our society? The answer seems to be kind of no. Like it seems to be a little bit flatter than you'd expect, but it also the actual like A-B plot of the show I think is compelling enough that it doesn't matter too much, and I still feel for these characters and their individual stories.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're going to go on a diatribe about religion. We're going to go on a diatribe about, like, love triangles. But we're not ever really going to get at the heart of what it is to be a middle school girl, which, if what I understand, having not gone through that experience, is a not great time.
Yeah, I think there's, like... I think that's kind of the thing, is... I think when I was watching it, like, and I... had not seen, and yeah, like maybe this is truly a times thing, like we just hadn't seen as much like feminist whatever stuff in the like media. I think I really like the scene where like that you alluded to where Sayaka beats up some dudes that are being ungrateful about women. Best part of the whole show. I think is like I think I saw that like whenever I watched this like senior year of high school or freshman year of college and was like, oh wow, yeah, like like they're finally saying it. Like I kind of had that feeling in a way that I definitely didn't this time, where I was like, this is a really kind of like just kind of like peppering in these things. I will say the one thing that I like on the feminism corner is like I think the mom stuff is good. I think that's fun. I think that
I am so excited to talk about the mom character. I didn't remember any of these scenes with the mom involved in my first watch through, and like over the last decade of thinking about the show, because she's not in Rebellion, right? Like the parents are so absent from the majority of the series. I was like wildly compelled by like her and Madoka like sitting around the kitchen table talking about what it means to become an adult and like the loss of innocence. Like there, I think there's some real meat on the bone. Like I thought that was like really compelling. And maybe it's just that I'm old now, and so it's like talking about like how growing up inherently involves a loss of innocence, as you just like the longer you're on this world, the more you're going to disappoint people, right? And so it's gonna like the more like nicks and cuts you're gonna take along the way, and the more you're gonna hurt people intentionally, unintentionally, what have you. And like you should make a mistake while you're young, being like a weirdly profound line that like you could follow the back half of the show through. That to me jumped out like crazy. Sorry, I cut you off, but I just really am excited to talk about the mom.
No, totally. No, I'm really glad. Yeah, no, she was. I will say, like, credit to myself. Like, I loved. That was like one of all my favorite parts when I was like watching it like before, and I sitting down, like I remember like top order things were like, oh, I can't wait for the conversation in the bathroom. I can't wait for the conversation on the staircase. I can't wait for the like I was like
I
I'm
remember the
like,
conversation on the
yeah, there's
bank,
just so much, yeah.
like with her Madoka's toddler brother, like remembering her and it being like like, but that just to me jumps out as like cool. That's just cool sci-fi of like someone remembering things across like timelines. Like that's some Steins Gate shit.
Yeah.
That is my jam. I love transcending through timelines, Mallory. I love it. I'm all about it. But that was my like teenage brain being like, this is a cool sci-fi concept as opposed to more of like
What the heck?
what does it mean emotionally for like someone to have lost a child and not know about it or what have you.
Right. Yeah, no, it's really crazy. Or like even like just thinking about like characters, like the choice to like sacrifice yourself or whatever and fully knowing all the like it man, what I like about this show is I've alluded to like plot structure is like I love shows that kind of do this thing where the protagonist like doesn't do much and they're mostly just being presented with like different concepts. And then
You're
they
walking from like
reach
one
enlightenment at the
philosophy to
end.
another until you reach a conclusion.
Yeah, it's like I think about it like the story of Buddha. That's like how I just understand this in my brain is that is the prototypical story of like someone who is wealthy and has everything he could ever want and grows bored and like listless or whatever and just like walks around and goes to like every extreme basically and like learns all these like different things from all those things and then finds enlightenment in the middle way and all this kind of stuff. And it's like that like Madoka style stories I feel like are like that where it's like you're getting all these like different paths and then they reach like some much more profound conclusion at the end. It's just fun. It's fun when like it feels like and that's as much as I was saying like maybe this is stupid and edgy and for teenagers. Like I think I was like
I'm
that
coming
is
back
where
around,
it feels like the
you know?
kids' gloves are off.
I like
Yeah.
to have a 12 episode anime series that asks the question, is self-sacrifice a selfish act? That's sick as hell, you know? That's like that's punching a little bit
No,
higher
it's cool.
than maybe we should all be friends in our ninja village, you know? Like that's a crazy concept.
Not you, adopted kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like Madoka's choice at the end, it like Homura obviously is the character that comes up with the most in this conversation, but also like the mom and Sayaka to an extent. It's like the decision to like take on the world, to be like the sin eater for the world. Yeah, you save the day, but at the same time you leave behind these people who care about you, and that is in a way selfish, which is wild to think about. Because again, 16-year-old Sam said, "Oh, she fixed it. Okay, everything's great." But then watching it now, I'm like, watching Homura watch the end of the universe through her rewriting of the laws of not causality, like entropy. I'm like, wow, this is pretty dark, and not in the like we're showing middle schoolers with guns way.
And it's like it's why it like emphasizes the mom so much of like she works so hard for her family, and she in the same way is like self-sacrificial, and like Madoka becomes like a reflection of her. She's self-sacrificial, and then like Madoka and her dad have to pay the cost, which is she comes home drunk on like is like sprawled on the couch.
She's distant. She's like seems very checked out in the pilot where like her kids are waking her up, and she seems to be like kind of like supported by her family, but like in an unhealthy way. But it's so that she can like put on her brave face and go out there and be a maternal breadwinner, which is an interesting thing they just kind of throw in there as like a foil for Madoka.
I think I do want to talk about that as well because it's fucking girl boss, but I think that like just to stick with the Buddha trek, one of my favorite things. I just not to be cringe and talk about Buddha, but
No, go for it.
like one of my favorite stories about it, and something I think about all the time when it comes to like enlightenment, is like there's this story of the Buddha where, you know, he's founded this religion and he's got all these teaching and he's like helping and healing all these people, and then he like goes back to his like wife and kid, and his wife is like, you're an asshole and you abandoned your family because you divorced yourself from all attachment and stuff like that. And it's like,
Yeah, divorcing yourself from moral attachment sounds like great and all until it's like, but your child or your wife, or, you know.
Like, yeah, it's like you have to... This is kind of a lot of what Madoka is about. It's like you have to have attachments in this world. You have to like... and it's an inevitable part of being human. You can't like kind of escape your desires fully, and you can like, you know, but you have to make like choices about like which ones you're going to detach from and which ones you're going to pursue, and that's what all of them are doing. And like Madoka is not making the morally pure perfect choice, because that doesn't exist. Like that's kind of like Sayaka's whole folly or whatever, is that she is like thinking that she can escape like her own desires or whatever, and they just crop up and make her feel like a worse person for having them. And it's like you can't judge yourself for wanting things or whatever. It's just like, okay, I want this, what do I do about it? Like, do I pursue it? Do I let go of it? And Madoka chooses what she wants to pursue, which is to like be the cycle breaker or whatever. But she
also makes the choice not caring about the consequences. Like, Kyubey is like, we don't know what's going to happen if you make this wish, and she's like, that's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, I can't get over the treatment of these other girls, so I'm going to make this choice. Like, consequences be damned. Like, are you trying to become a god? I don't know. I'm just trying to like fix things, and I'm gonna. It's an innocent wish in a non-innocent world. Like, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's a good show.
And it's like when you have a wish and you choose to like pursue something like that, like, yeah, you have to accept the inherent messiness, and you have to accept that like you're gonna like. You're not putting as much time into other things because you're putting time into this, and you kind of have to like live with that and like live with the imperfections. And that's why Kyoko is the best character, and she's the only one that is speaking real to any of these people, because she just shows up and she's like, yeah, just steal apples, man. Like, who cares? And then Sayaka's like, where'd you get that apple? You can't even answer me. Dude, I would be right behind Kyoko. I'd be like, she took it from Walmart. Because you know what I mean? Like
you're saying theft is wrong? Let me introduce you to John Valjean over here, all right? You know?
Exactly, dude.
You can
we already solved Buddha. This with Les Miserables.
I'm bringing Les Miserables to the Madoka Magica conversation, and I'm not apologizing for it, okay?
Yeah, no, definitely. All that philosophy all of that philosophy aside. What's this? The woke police are in.
I thought we were already in woke police when we started talking about feminism, but yeah, go ahead.
We kind of were, but this is the real work. The woke police. Here's the thing about the woke police is they've got their priorities straight, and they know like what your top booking is. Like, they're not gonna bother trying to get you on like, you know, vague minor feminism discrepancies that like may or may not.
What you got? You got to take down Generabuchi a peg? You know? Like, what's going on?
I didn't like in the finale when the two naked 14-year-old girls just kind of roll around on each other a bunch. I wasn't fond of it, and I didn't remember it going on for as long as it did.
It's called hentai and it's art, just okay? You know what I'm quoting, right?
And the intro song.
That does bother me as well.
It bothered me, and I knew going in, I was like, this has always bothered me. And then I clicked on it, I was like, God, it's so much more obvious, and like, it's just so pronounced.
It bothers me in like
not
regular,
a little minor thing.
Like magical girl transformations. Like, I've always been like
Yeah.
skeeved out by it, and I continue to be skeeved out by it in Madoka, even if they have like tasteful particle effects or whatever. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like be panty and stocking and do like actual like OnlyFans model shit, or don't do it at all. Like that's kind of my line. But also don't do it with 14-year-old girls. And
Right.
I think the other thing, I think why I was like I think I was actually getting legitimately triggered by like Shaft. Sorry.
Yeah. Shaft.
It's like the like backgrounds and like layouts and stuff like that. It was like bringing me back to that, and then I was just like, I was having like war flashbacks of watching a certain
Monogatari.
series. Yeah, where I was just like, there something that's like, and I've talked to you about this before. I don't want to like dwell on this point because it's not necessarily like Madoka's not the worst about this compared to like Monogatari, but like I've told you before, my white whale of a video essay that I want to make is to be able to like talk about Monogatari, and like one of the things that I've really fixated on is like the idea that producing these like high concept shows that get people like us talking about like, you know, philosophy and like wisdom and like all this intricate bullshit or whatever, and like having like all these debates, and it like at a certain point it feeling like a mask for them, or like a shield for them to like, you know, proliferate.
Have explicit material of children. Is that what you mean? Yeah,
yeah, like proliferate like explicit material of children. Like I feel like it makes me feel like a dumb sheep for wanting to engage with their series seriously when they have stuff like that in there. Again, I really don't want to like dismiss the series outright. There's so much good in it. We haven't even talked about like the queer stuff, obviously, but like it's so frustrating.
I think now
there's
a legitimate argument out there that like you should be able to make art's the wrong word here. It is thematically rich to discuss childhood sexuality, right? Like, because like
right.
Puberty is like a thematically rich experience that everyone on Earth basically goes through. So you can have art about it, but this is not art about like teenagers coming into their sexuality. It's about girls fighting witches and being magical girls, and like the loss of innocence doesn't have to do with sex in this show. So
it's like there. This show is No, go ahead.
Like,
sorry.
I'm not going to say I give Monogatari a pass, because Monogatari has a whole lot of this content in ways that I think is really, really hard to justify. But Monogatari is at least about that more often, right? Especially when it comes to like
sexuality and stuff.
Yes, especially when it comes to like Shinjagahara and Aragi. So like there, I'm like, it's used purposefully. Here it's like, well, this is just what magical girl transformations are, so we're gonna do the thing. And it's like, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, I don't, and I know that, like, if I remember correctly, I believe there's like a pretty long like bath scene in Rebellion with Mommy, if I remember correctly. It's been a decade, but
I remember. Yeah, I vaguely remember the movies getting more like explicit about Mommy's like all right, like, you know, I that's my memory, but yeah, again, I haven't seen them in a while. But yeah, it's what you said. It's that, like, you know, Evangelion as well is another series that, like,
Evangelion, I'm way less bothered by it because it's about the thing until it kind of flanderizes itself over 20 years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
definitely. I think it's like it's about sexual, and it's okay to talk about like 14-year-old protagonist Shinji like having sexual thoughts and stuff like that, because we're making a series about puberty. I think that's acceptable. I think that's like, but like there's ways of framing it, like we always talk about, where it's like, okay, is this to like titillate the viewer, or is this to like engage with them in like a certain, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. It's just like, it's annoying that it even has to come up. Like, we could just be sitting here, and like that. It's one of the things. Like, that's the thing I was referencing earlier. But it's like it tilts it towards like, who is this for? Like, there, it's like it feels like a wink and a nudge towards like a certain audience.
Yes, I frequently feel people being pandered to who it's like, I'm not with them. I don't want to be with them. Like, and it's. And is that snobby? Is that whatever? Sure, but
I
at the
feel
same
like
time,
a sheep.
You feel like a sheep.
I feel like a sheep. Like, I'm like I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, this series is like, so like, if you read the Buddhist traditions, you could really like see how she goes through the Eightfold Path or whatever. It's like, and then like pedophile Joe in the corner is gonna be like, yeah, what she said. Like, good
Check
point.
out this anime figure I got. Like, look, you can see up her skirt, and I'm like, okay, I'm not. That they're not on my team. Can I?
Yeah.
Can you go away, please? Yeah.
I think, yeah. I think it's nice to bring it up in this series before we talk about series that are way more complex and worse about it. Like, because like with Monogatari and Evangelion, it's like there's a lot more of it, but it's also about sexuality, so it's a lot more of a complicated conversation. I feel like this is like a lot simpler because it's just like, it's weird, but it's also not like front and center, especially in this original series as much. Except
it's also
in the intro, but yeah.
Not to like excuse it, I would say Madoka is by far not nearly the worst I've seen in this aspect. Like it's some questionable animation that I disagree with, but I think that like, and maybe there's more in Rebellion that I don't remember. We haven't watched Rebellion for this episode, but we will. We will watch Rebellion at some point. But I'm so desensitized to it but it's not, that shouldn't be a reason to be like, this isn't worth bringing up, and this is why we have woke police on as a category. Yes,
this is why we have our boys in blue coming in every week to lay down the law, to book these criminals. Okay, this is why we hire them. Okay.
And now they're getting in their cruiser. They've solved nothing. They've caught no crime, and they're driving away. Oh, they're stopping someone with no pretense. Okay.
They're lighting neighborhood businesses on fire.
Why are they leaving a pallet of bricks next to that protest? Okay. Anyway, that was a fun diatribe. I have a different category for you, Mallory.
Okay, yeah.
It's Diva of the Evening.
Diva of the Evening!
Do you know who Diva of the Evening is?
Lay out the carpet. I'm actually... this is tough, because, like, this is a show about divas. I was going to describe earlier when you were talking about, like, you know, how this show isn't really reflective of, like, the struggles aren't, like, girls going through puberty. I'm like, this to me is, like, the struggle of, like, the group project's gone too far. It's gone wrong. Like, where you get a bunch of, like, good-hearted girls together, and it's like, okay, try to think of something that can help the community, and every proposed idea gets shut down. It's like, there's still people dying in Afghanistan. Like, it's just
there is a lot of actually
when just escalated into like a suicide pact or something. Like, it's just the yeah.
Especially with Kyoko and Homura. Homura has good reason to be like that because she's been through this so many times. Kyoko, I get it. I get her backstory. I understand. But it's like, you know, there's a lot of conversation about things returning to the mean when it comes to the magical girls, where it's like, well, every person she saved, she will now curse because that's just like how this system has been built. And like, that's kind of, you should expect to like things that are unnatural to have unnatural results or whatever. Mommy like just saved a bunch of people and had kind of a sad life and then died. We don't know anything else about it. And I'm like, well, that seems like a net positive. Like, she saved more than she killed. She never became a witch. Like, that kind of breaks the rules a little bit. Anyway, Diva of the Evening got off track. The teacher. Can we talk about the teacher, Mal? I gotta talk about the teacher. I gotta talk about Sunnyside eggs and whether you season them with soy salt or salt. What an asshole. I can't stand this woman.
See, I felt a little bit irritated by. First of all, looks too much like a baby. Let's talk about that.
Elaborate.
Adrian, look at Madoka's mom. They drew Madoka's mom in the style, and she looks like an adult. You should look at the chubby cheeks on this woman. She's like, she has like, she's the same character model as like the toddler, and they just like stretched her body to be longer.
She's almost 30, Mallory. You're talking about a 30-year-old woman.
I know. I'm like, I don't look like that. This is unrealistic standards for how you know,
How we all age.
Neotnik. Oh my god. I'm just trying to. I don't got my vocab. I don't got my thesaurus with me today for like baby words. Yeah, she looks like a baby. She just kind of talks about whatever. And I feel like the trope of like teacher complains about her boyfriend in class. It can be funny. I feel like that was where I started to be like, does this series like women or not?
It's weird to me. Like, I like the trope of we're gonna have wacky character and then suddenly they're gonna be like the moral center for like a scene. Like it's the Silent Bob of Madoka Magica, where like suddenly she's talking with Madoka's mom, and she talks about like the innocence of young girls and how it goes away when they're older. Like, I think that scene really works, but I really found the scenes with her in the classroom annoying. But it's when they do it over again and you're like wanting, like you're sitting there being like, there's a lot of empty chairs in this classroom because so many characters have died, and she's yelling about eggs. Yeah. It is effective because you're like, they don't know that they died. They don't know that they're never going to find Sayaka's body. They did find it, but they might not have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that way of like recentering things in reality. Like that works a lot more effectively because like when you have a scene with oh my god, the green herd, Hitomi? Mm-hmm. Is that her name?
Hitomi.
Yeah, when you have the scene with her and she's talking to like Madoka and Sayaka and they're all like depressed because everyone's dying around them, like she is having one-on-one interactions and picking up that things are wrong or whatever. Mm-hmm. Versus like that scene with the teacher talking is like, okay, here we're repeating a joke, but it's not. But it's like it's no longer funny because you're like, oh my god, the horror. So that it does work in that sense, definitely.
There's a
I wanted to talk about
moment.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Hit me. Sorry.
Just
keep going.
That scene reminds me of a really effective moment in not the Persona game that I pitched you for the long pitch, but a different Persona game where one of your party members dies, and like the most depressing part of it is you kind of just have to go back to school, and it's just like it's very effectively like a life goes on kind of couple of in-game days where you're like, all right, still can't believe that person died, but I guess we're putting our best foot forward now, and suddenly I'm being asked about the student council again. I don't really give a shit about the student council. That person died, but I have to give a shit about the student council or the track club or whatever because that's just life, and it's really so effective. And that scene reminded me of that scene. This is a Persona game that I did not pitch you, but I'm trying not to be spoilerific for other folks because we're not. Title of this episode isn't "Nobody Leaves Until We Finish Persona," the game that Sam doesn't want to say the title of, but it could be. Anyway, that's all I had.
Ooh. Yeah, no, it's interesting, like grief in general in this show, and like how taking on like the burden and the weight of someone's existence, like taking their life path as like a guy, like I'm gonna live like them or whatever, and all that is like very interesting. Like I think that there's something and it could be more feminine. Here's me like doing the show's work for it. I feel like there's something interesting in like so I gender transitioned at some point in my life, and I had this like ideal of like how I should like adapt to like this female social role or whatever. And it's like, you know, I think human beings in general do this, where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to approach this, but I'm going to do it differently because I'm built different. Maybe people in general don't do that. Maybe that's just a negative trait that I have. But it's like, okay, I'm gonna like try and be like this and this and this. Yeah, exactly. No, like, yeah,
I'm gonna become the
you have
first
to do that. You have to just like
well
jump
put
in.
together woman.
Yeah, like I'm somehow gonna bear it all, and then like cut to me like a few years later, like crying at the fucking Barbie movie because it suddenly hit me. It was like it wasn't stuff that I hadn't heard before, but it was the first time I was like, oh wait, that applies to me. Like I'm living that now.
I've
That's
now
crazy.
experienced that.
And,
yeah,
like,
no, my life experience has changed.
Yeah, and it's like I think I realized like there's something interesting in like trying to copy there's a lot in the show about like the good and bad being connected, like the ideal and the suffering are like inherently like intertwined, and it's like there's an interesting idea to me of like replicating the same shortcomings and weaknesses and flaws of someone by trying to embody their positive
Ideal.
Traits,
Right.
you know, like by wanting to be like a more kind and giving and supportive person. I felt, for example, myself like, oh, like I'm making myself smaller, and I'm like kind of, and then like the side effects start to happen, like where I feel like I'm being more critical of myself and others, and like it just there's something interesting to that, and it's I don't know that it's necessarily inherently connected to womanhood. Like I think this show is very just like all encompassing, like the desire and the role and everything, like it's all connected. I'm sure like whatever social role you're trying to like embody, you're gonna like run into those same shortcomings.
If we're being really
But
generous
it's
about Madoka, I think you can like draw all these different things from it, and maybe it not outright stating, like it doesn't get up on a soapbox and say like this is my thesis statement. That might be to the show's benefit because you. I got you're introducing me to another category, which I have to stop relying on as a crutch. But I love the better a pig than a
bring it
fascist
in.
category. There's a plane coming in. It's time to do a Porcorosa reference. Two quotes stand out to me from what you just brought up. There's Homura tells Madoka like many different times, like your kindness may bring about an even greater tragedy. And that applies both in like the plot sense of like her being kind to Homura resulted in the whole time loop, whatever, but also just like the concept of like you like trying to bear this burden for people inherently causes those people to feel like guilty about what you're doing for them, and like it'd be a lot simpler world if someone did something nice for you and me, and then we just go like, oh cool, and didn't like think more deeply about it. But it's all like kindness is transactional in a way, and it can still be beautiful and it can still be meaningful and all these different things, but there's a transaction element to it. There's like a tick for tat. Other quote, back to the like, what does it mean to be a woman bearing the sins of the world or what have you. The big reveal, right? I did this rewatch as the movie versions, and it's like one of the last lines of the first movie, which basically ends when Sayaka is transforming, is it's appropriate to call you magical girls because you'll all become witches someday. Now that's just a hard line. That's just like, oh, it's the big secret of the show. But also, if you think about it a little deeper, it's like the world will make you a villain. That your experiences will make you like your teacher, like your mom. It will beat you down and turn you into a witch, essentially. And that's really cool. Like there is some meat on this bone.
Yeah.
I'm back. First 10 minutes of the podcast, maybe Madoka's not as good as I remember.
I tried to rain on your parade.
Fuck you, Mallory. I understand women.
I feel... Dude, I don't know shit about women and feminism at all this whole time. I feel like I'm embodying being the Homer of this podcast of being like everything's perfect and solved, and then I'm like, all right, we need to release a new movie where I ruin it all.
Are you saying, are we resetting our
Drag it
ideas
down.
like every 10 minutes, or is that what we're doing in this episode?
Yeah, we've recorded this podcast hundreds of times. This is just jazz at this point. I'm just trying to figure out how I can manipulate you into agreeing with all my points. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I'll say my better pig than a fascist, which is the line that unlocks the theme of the show, and I'm not going to quote it exactly directly because I didn't write it down, is don't waste food when Sayaka throws away like how dare you waste
the
food
apple.
when like Kyoko the whole time is being like yeah or whatever, and then she offers Sayaka an apple and she throws it to the ground. She's like, what the fuck? When she gets so mad. It's really good. Because I think there's just something to I can relate to. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to like Sayaka, especially as like a young person, and like I think that there's a lot of stuff that she says, and I think it's reflective of like her and Madoka's like mindsets. Like they both kind of seem to approach things from a similar place. That to me, it's a place of guilt, and that's like kind of what I think you were getting at with like the, your quote about like the interactions of like kindness and guilt and that kind of thing is like really interesting. It's like the like guilt being such a self-destructive force, and it being something that like not just destructive in general, and it not like always being the like I like if you talk to people in like social justice movements, they're like guilt is like really unhelpful, like it's a really unproductive emotion to like approach activism from, but it's also a very natural thing to feel like when you're first learning about factory farming and you're first learning about like the world and tragedies and sickness and illness, which is like that's what these characters are going through in this like coming of age thing. And yeah, I think there's just like something of you learn all this stuff and you learn like, okay, we're in the most privileged country or whatever, and we like you're part of the 1%, whatever, like it's like all this stuff, and then you feel like, wow, I need to like dedicate my whole life to like saving, like I need to find like pinpoint the least fortunate people in the world and give the most of myself to them, and like all this kind of stuff. It's like unfair, and the only way that I can balance the system is to like basically destroy myself through like altruism. And I think that like throwing away the apple, it's just like self-care and self-maintenance is like obviously part of it. That's obviously a message of the show, and like you can't single-handedly save the entire world and change it. Even Madoka doesn't do that.
Be kind. Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to do what's going on with like what's in front of you. Like I can feel sad about like the fact that people are like starving in Palestine, right? If I get served food in front of me, to not eat it is not helping anyone. To not buy food with my money every day is not helping anyone. To like starve myself for like other people, it's like that's not productive, because like maybe it feels good in the moment and you can like sit around with like smug superiority and like a healthy stomach, but like if you want to make actual change, like the thing you learn as an adult is like you gotta be consistent and be present and be like by feeding yourself and taking care of yourself. If all you care about is helping other people, you're maintaining the thing that is able to help other people for a lot longer and a lot more sustainably, and to like help other people, like so that you're not doing it alone. It's a whole tangent, and it's like
these are big concepts.
I'll explain the show, but yeah.
I mean, these are big concepts that like the characters in the show are not able to grapple with because of their age, right? Like they're trying to, and but they're taking it in a very like Power Rangers simplistic approach of like, I want to be a hero of justice. I want to save people. I'm not going to think about like the consequences of that on my family, my personal life, what have you. It's the Sayaka folly, right? I did not expect
Mm.
the Kyoko scenes to me like it. I think she's the character that gets the least to do in the show, but it
Mm.
is she's an effective foil for Sayaka, and I like it. I love the just the look of her like all of them have really strong themes, right? And you can dig into like artistic themes, I should say.
Mm.
Like you can dig into like why is Sayaka a mermaid as a witch, and like Kyoko is constantly like surrounded by religious imagery, and like she has a whole like false prophet thing going on, and that is all artistically rich. Even if, and I think it is thematically rich, like we're talking about it, we're going in depth on it for an hour, but
Right.
it also is just a cool show. I would like to introduce
Yeah.
the Gush Zone, sponsored by
Well,
Gushers.
just
Unleash
to
the
say,
unstoppable flavor inside. Okay, I've been cut
oh,
off. No,
let's go ahead
what's
and
up?
I'd like to hold in the unstoppable flavor for a little bit.
Okay.
Is it possible to stop the flavor for even a moment?
I'm not
Just
sure.
to say, just to say that Kyoko is I think she is like she's obviously gets the least exploration out of any of them. And she is mostly there to serve as like a character for Sayaka. I think that's just why I like her so much, because I think that like my folly would be to get stuck in a Sayaka like mindset of like I need to like take the shirt off my back and like give it to someone else who's like holding the shoe or something, like and in a way that's like stupid and not helpful, like not in a way that is like you're Jesus, like you're just kind of like an asshole, like it's I think that it Kyoko, I am drawn to her so much because it's like how I try to be more, which is a little bit like okay, just she's like a New Yorker in the body of a magical girl,
I
you know.
see.
She'll be like mean to you and stuff, but then as soon as like there's a external threat, she'll be like, "You mess with one of us, you
One of
mess
us,
with
you mess with.
all
I
of
knew you were
us."
going
know
for
what I
the
mean?
Spider-Man. Why has Spider-Man come up multiple
Tell
times
me
in the
that's
Madoka
not
podcast?
what you would say.
I understand.
It just feels. I was thinking about Spider-Man when I was watching it, because that's the thing that I've watched that's closest to Madoka since then. Um, Sam, would you like to gush in the Gush Zone and unleash the unstoppable flavor inside? That
I'd like to
cannot be
bring you into
stopped.
the Gush Zone, sponsored by Gushers, Unleash the Unstoppable Flavor Inside. Um, all this is great, themes and philosophy and Buddhism and feminism, all that's great. This show does a time loop really well, and it's a trope, but I
Mmm.
love it. I love when you see like really bad alternate timelines and you just get like little snippets of it. And it did not need to go as hard as it did with like this is the timeline where Mommy shoots Kyoko and then Sayaka dies
God.
and Madoka shoots Mommy, and it's like, whoa, that was not I didn't know we were watching this kind of show. I mean, I kind of did, but it could get even worse than I thought. It really
Yeah, it's such a
the
good way of
Homura
raising the stakes at that
it
point in the
is
series.
it's such a good way of raising the stakes. And if memory serves, because the movie kind of like leads you into it, isn't it just like the episode starts and like suddenly we're in the Mamura or we're in the Homura like timeline, like we're in the initial like here's how
Yeah.
she became a magical girl timeline. What a wild swing, and like an amazing like single episode, up there with like the Karu episode of Evangelion, where it's like we're just gonna like completely spin the entire show on its head for a minute here. Like, can you let us spit for a second? It's really really well done. You learn so much. Like you don't learn.
Yeah.
You actually don't learn that much, but you watch a character like speed run through everything that we've experienced up to this point about like magical girls are witches and your soul is your gem
Mm.
and you're all gonna die and
Yeah.
this it's really effective as like a 22 minutes of storytelling.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's so and I think that yeah, rewatching it is like the thing that is so good in the show is like it's a little clockwork machine. Like you just want to break it apart and deconstruct it of like all the little pieces. the timeline it being the ultimate thing of like they really like thought about what was going on and the
Yes.
character motivations. Like Homura wasn't aura farming, to borrow like speaking of like a Deltarune thing. Like there's a lot of jokes about like the knight just sitting around and like aura farming or whatever.
Right.
When it's like, because we don't know at this point like what is going on with that character. Like
The hair
Homura is
flips are
not
out
just
of
like
control.
she's in every specific place. Like
Yeah.
yeah, because she needs to like do the things, like the other characters getting like I forgot that detail, like the fact that like when it starts it's just Madoka and Mami and they die, and like Sayaka and Kyoko don't start getting like roped in until like later timelines or whatever, and you just start to feel this like maelstrom of how like the timelines are getting worse and worse, and like how Madoka is like getting weaker and weaker, kind of like she
Right.
starts
She's
being like
being
this
like
strong,
coddled.
confident inspiration. Yeah, she's just getting broken down basically to a certain point, and yeah, I don't know. It's nice. It's a nice thing, and
Well, and just it tying into the plot
Yeah.
point of like why is Madoka have the most potential of any magical girl? Like that is just it's a choice piece of writing to like have it both serve the greater narrative, like A to B plot wise, but also be this just tragic like short film in the middle of another bigger series. Like I think of Hamura as the protagonist of Madoka, and I know that she is in Rebellion, but like she really isn't. Like she's not. You don't get her perspective outside of this one episode that really like twists the whole thing. And when you go back and you see their first interaction in the timeline that we are familiar with, and even though she's now become so cold and her approach has changed so much to where she's like not letting people in, she just immediately goes like, "You can call me Homura, and I'll call you Madoka." Like that's like,
please.
please, like, can I at least have that? And that's like, it makes me. It is also, it's both the gush zone, but also the cry about it. Like I'm like, that is really well done and sad. Where her breakdown, where Madoka does not have the context in this scene, but like they're in her little clockwork weird like planning lab, and she's just like, I can't do this anymore, like I'm going crazy, and you don't even know why, and you don't even really know me, and you must think I'm a freak. Like it adds so much weight to all the scenes where she shows up and like does the thing and leaves and it doesn't elaborate.
It doesn't refuses to elaborate. Yeah, I think it's so well done as well. Like I love shows that play with like how protagonist and antagonist a character is, where like as you said, like you don't get her perspective and she's not explained, but on rewatch she's the protagonist and you're kind of viewing things like it's so hard not to follow her and be like, how do we stop like Madoka? And like every like step of the way you're like, that's a bad look, or like, oh that's, and you start to really see and like fixate on like Madoka's traits, because like I mentioned earlier, like thinking of her as a character that really does nothing and is mostly being exposed to all this stuff and then coming to the conclusion, but she does like her morals and everything and like her kind of disposition like do get like expounded on in these little ways of like you being like, Homer was trying to do this, that didn't work, and this is why, and it's like a character reason. It's cool. It's
but
good.
The character
I like
reason
it.
is that Madoka is selfless, right? Like, and getting a chance to
Yes.
see like what is she like in a timeline where she's more of the doer, she's more of the driver. We're seeing the version where Homura is purposefully like taking away her agency, is trying to prevent her from making these choices, and it results in her having a rough time in the timeline that we follow, where she is defined by her inaction for 11 of the 12 episodes. Like, I didn't make a choice and now mommy's dead. I didn't make a choice and now Sayaka has to save me instead. That ruined her life. I'm helpless as Kyoko dies. I don't know anything about Hamura, but I feel bad for her. Like, I'm left in the dark about all these different things. It's just really, it's really well done.
I want to talk about some whether the curtains are blue or not, Sam, and that is to make a brief reference to futuristic Japan being presented in the series. The little desks, like, they fold. When you're done with your desk, it, like, retracts underneath.
And it has, like, computer code going on it, yeah.
It's like, computer, student has died. Remove their desk.
Why are these kids, like, going to school in, like, Minority Report? Yeah, no, let's talk about it.
Yeah, or these big, like, they're endless, like, mind palace. They're rooms, apartments that these 14-year-old girls live in without their parents or whatever. To me, it's something I was thinking about is, like, I feel like a lot of kind of touching on, like, the being, like, rich in first world country and feeling like white guilt and all that kind of stuff.
Let's talk about it. Great. All right, let's get back to it.
Madoka and Sayaka. Pull that back out. I think that the futuristic theme, to me, is, like, it's kind of getting that, like, end of history, all problems have been solved, everything is perfect, and for your life specifically, like, we live in this advanced society. I also felt that way a little bit about the girl boss mom thing of, like, you know, like, gender equality achieved, desks they go into the floor.
We did it,
now.
Reddit.
Like, everything's kind of squared away, and Madoka has this pretty picturesque life, but unfortunately there's still unseen suffering in, like, other parts of the world, and people you don't even know that you're going to meet through this plot that are having all sorts of, like, suffering and stuff like that.
Are you saying it's literally a glass
I don't know,
house?
to me, the futuristic...
Because it is.
Well, I mean, that too. and they're cooking alive every day. But I think that, like, all the like, futurisms... Like, obviously, I think, like, it's Shaft. It's all, like, it's avant-garde, and, like,
sure.
I don't think there's we're literally supposed to think there's a constant swinging, like, axe in Homer's room of, like, the time pendulum or whatever.
Right.
But I do think that what we're supposed to feel from all that futurism, like, I think it adds to the series in that feeling of, like, everything is pristine, everything's clean, every problem is solved to the point that we have to, all right, what are we going to do next, folks? I guess we could make the desks retract into the ground, you know? I really fixated on that one, if you can't tell.
It's a weird detail.
But, yeah, but I think that's my theory and feeling on, like, why that is included and why it enhances the tone of the series. Is that what Blue Curtains is about? Am I doing this segment correctly?
Yeah, like, it's a good subject for this category, right? Because it's like the bad faith interpretation is like, oh, it's just Shaft being Shaft, and they wanted to draw cool buildings with good lighting or whatever. But
yeah,
is there a purpose to it? I'm kind of in the curtain is just blue category when it comes to futurism stuff. Believe it or not, this is a rare, like, I'm gonna take the evil side here.
Nah, there's no symbolism. Yeah.
Well, because just knowing what I know about, like, Monogatari and how Monogatari obviously, like, sometimes it is very symbolic and sometimes it's like, no, we just want to draw cool, like, playground equipment. The thing that jumped out to me in terms of, like, symbolism abound is the labyrinths. And being able to watch, like, the first half of the series, knowing what a labyrinth is and what a witch is, and that a witch is a magical girl, it's like, oh, what are all these different witches' wishes how are they being reflected in the labyrinth? Like, what did someone do to become, like, the hospital witch? Where it's like, it's all syringes and lollipops. Like, is that someone who previously wished to, like, heal themselves? Like, maybe they had, like, a terminal illness or something. Like, one I kept coming back to is, like, what did someone do to become, like, the laundry witch? Because one of the timelines they're fighting, like...
Oh.
a person who's like all clotheslines and like half of a torso, and it's like, did you like wish that you could do laundry faster and I never had to do laundry again, and now you're a magical girl and like destined to die? Like, that sucks.
That was like the other side of Good Luck Babe. Like, you know, people always talk about the other girl's perspective. Like, that's her. She became a witch and died, and then she became the laundry witch.
Well, or actually, like, not to joke about it, is it? That's probably a wish that has to do with like domestic life or something. Like, I want to become like a housewife. Like, what does that mean? And why is a middle schooler or age girl like wishing about that? They just throw Joan of Arc in there randomly. It's a little dumb, but it's also kind of awesome. Like, you can go on just like crazy Tumblr blogs and Reddit blogs of like, what do all these different images mean, or what could they mean? And it's a really fun I Spy of like abstraction that I quite enjoy.
Yeah, and they're so beautifully done. I mean, like, it's a nice looking show, and like I'll always gush about like mixed media. Stop the unflavorable flavor. Unleash the unstoppable flavor inside. Sponsor by Gushers. I think that it's like the way that they look, just kind of like these paper cutouts from one thing, and then they're being like the chaos and torment of the fact, oh, this isn't made from the same material as you guys. Like, this is like another reality.
You're alien,
so fundamentally opposed and like different. Yeah, so nice every time. Every time the Walpurgis Night and that laugh, that big upside down spinning gear. She's like blowing up. She goes, ah! That's a diva. That's a diva of the evening.
That's a diva of the evening right there. Well, like, and it being like 3D animation, or like you said, like the papercraft stuff. It's like, it literally is an anime in a show that's trying to be more than anime tropes. Like, it's just cool. It works. It's really effective. Mallory, what Fortnite skin are we giving this show? What's the most inappropriate Fortnite skin? You want to be like clicking heads as Hitomi, the green-haired girl who doesn't get any transformations?
I want to be the toddler that says Madoka like a Pokemon. Her little brother. He pissed me off, actually, the ending scene. Because I felt emotional the first time I saw it, and then when I was watching it, he literally goes, Madoka, Madoka. I was like, shut up.
It's once again a little over the top. It's like, oh, that's sad. Like, when it first shows him drawing her on the bank, I'm like, aw. And then it's like, okay, we get it. Okay, we get it. Like, be sad. It's just tipping the scales so much on the audience. Mallory,
definitely.
How you bringing pirates into this series? Does this series need pirates, or is this like, is it too?
So here's
girly?
The angle. Here's the angle, because as we learned from the documentary Blackbird Turret Sea, pirates are all men, and it's really hard to be a woman pirate. And if you even make one small slip, the most horrific things will happen to you. So
yes.
And kind of the question at the heart of the series that you were bringing up that it doesn't like fully explore from like a feminist angle, we feel like, is like the like teenage girls feeling like the most
emotionally
strong, whatever,
volatile.
emotions.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a sexist way to say it, but sure.
Teen pirate could a male teen pirate feel enough emotion for Cube to be like, we could juice this guy for some real energy that's gonna help us fight entropy. Like, do you think that
would you have liked Madoka more if
capable?
They show like the Aztec magical girl and like the Joan of Arc magical girl and like the Viking magical girl. If there had just been one pirate magical girl, would that like have added half a star?
They didn't give us one. They had it right there. The fact that they put a Viking in there, I like rolled my eyes. I was like, you put a Viking there, you're not gonna put a pirate in there.
It's a little silly.
Yeah, I think I think if you get between a pirate and his gold, I think that you're gonna have get to. That's another way to break the law of cycles. You get between one pirate and his gold. That's so much emotion that you're gonna solve the entropy thing for a good while.
That could feed
so yeah.
Cube and the alien race, is like how excited Blackbeard gets when he finds gold. Like that's like a Madoka entropy bomb's worth of energy.
If Madoka, instead of like crying about the sins of the world, if she just like flipped open her laptop and showed her Blackbeard Terror at Sea, Cube would have been like, "Now tell me about this guy. No, this is now we're cooking."
If you're new to the podcast, we bring up Blackbeard a lot. I don't know how this happened. It's Mallory's fault. Mallory, I gotta ask you, as I do every other week. Where are you gonna rank this?
I am struggling.
She's struggling.
I think that.
She's bouncing between hope and despair.
Yeah, I'm bouncing between hope and despair, and I'm really trying to find. And everyone's like just spouting different moral arguments at me, and I'm just kind of like sitting there.
Home or a gun to your head? What do you give? What's the rank?
I think that if you had me guess, only remembering the good parts of the series, I think this would have been. I would have been like, oh yeah, of course that's Trap Queen. Like that's the best, you know. I think now, I'm feeling Angel based on this conversation, just because there's like, oh, I wish. But am I being so stupid about that?
Is that your opinion or a video essay's opinion? That's the question, right?
No, because all the video essays were saying it was really good.
Oh, I see.
And there was something in me that was being like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, but they're kind of gay, but they're not gay. But it was 2010 or whatever, 2011.
Don't worry, we'll get to the gay one. We'll get to Rebellion in at some point.
Yeah, we'll get some Sayaka Kyoko shipping if it kills me. I think
this
is gonna go in the Angel. Hell yeah, no, I think we're gonna put it in the Angel tier because it just kind of feels like an angelic show. It's really good, but we have 6 ranks now, so we gotta space them out a little bit more.
Yeah, spread the love by bringing things down a peg.
Spread the love. Yeah.
Spread the love. Well, Mallory, what am I going to
love
next week?
Sam, you're going to love this. We're going to, speaking of revisiting things that came out in the early to mid 2010s that we haven't watched in a while, it's by your favorite director, who I forget the name of.
Good start. Are you talking about Mamoru Hosoda?
I believe so. And it's my favorite movie by your favorite director, which is Boy and the Beast. Love this movie. Love this flick. This is one of my favorite movies like ever, and I want to figure out why. And I am so excited to rejoin Kumatetsu and the gang and
His Heart's a Sword. Yeah.
And
hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Have you seen it?
That is what we're going to be watching next week.
In like a decade?
I saw it. I definitely watched it multiple times at the time. I had a phase where I was trying to I was looking up clips on YouTube because I didn't want to commit to watching the whole movie. Like recently. But yeah, no, I don't think I've watched the full movie in like a long time. So I'm really excited.
It's a year of kindness, Mallory. You're pitching me something I want to watch, a movie I like, a movie I own. This is great.
Hell yeah, Sam. No, I'm looking forward to this. This is good. This is like, I think also because we watched Belle, it just made me hunger for Boy and the Beast so much.
Let's watch a better Mamoru Hosoda movie. Listen, Scarlet's coming out. Scarlet's already out in your country. I'm ready to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a date in America yet, but I'm gearing up. It's even more CG this time, but it might be pretty. I can't tell. But the trailers, every time I see the trailer in theaters sometimes now, and I'm like, do I like this art style or do I hate it? I kind of got to watch more of it.
I can't. I can't tell if I'm pissed off right now or not.
Kind a little bit. When I initially saw the first trailer, I was like, "This looks bad. Why is he making a CGI dragon movie? Fuck this shit." And now I'm like, this kind of looks pretty good. I'm excited to see it.
Animation's hard. Animation
Animation's
is
hard.
suffering.
Boy and the Beast.
Um,
Good movie. Looking forward to it. Big
Madoka
CGI
is
whale.
suffering.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, but until then, Sam, I'd like to break the cycle by just getting out of this podcast as quickly as possible for you at any time. To
Eject
criticize
cord.
anything
Eject.
that I've said
Eject.
this whole time. Eject. Get me out of here.
Mallory, have a good evening.
Mr. Electric sees him. Have a great day, Sam.